This is The Scoop for Tuesday.
I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines. Yesterday, a federal appeals court rejected restrictions that Governor DeSantis and Republican lawmakers placed on addressing race-related issues in workplace training. They were part of a controversial 2022 law that DeSantis called the Stop Woke Act. A three-judge panel of the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said those restrictions violated First Amendment rights. The panel upheld a preliminary injunction that was issued in 2022 by a chief U.S. district judge. Some of Florida's most powerful business groups and major companies are urging a federal judge to approve a stay of a ruling in a battle about permitting authority for projects that affect wetlands. The business groups warned of devastating effects if the ruling remains in place. The groups and companies filed a friend of the court brief on Saturday supporting a request by the state for a partial stay of a ruling by a U.S. district judge this month. The judge found that federal officials did not follow the required steps in 2020 before transferring wetlands-related permitting authority from the federal government to Florida. The judge sided with environmental groups and issued an order vacating approval of that shift. But the business groups and companies said in the brief that the ruling, without a stay, could cause wide-ranging problems such as permitting delays for planned developments. Children under the age of 13 would be prohibited from having some social media accounts under a revised bill that passed the Florida Senate yesterday. The revised bill would give parents more say over what their child sees or does online. The Florida Senate passed the amended version of House Bill 3, which was sponsored by Republican Senator Erin Grahl. She says parents who decide to allow their kids on social media still should be mindful of the potential dangers.
Allowing a parental consent component of this bill and bringing it before you does not negate the harms that have been laid out about what these platforms are doing to all of our children.
The amendment creates a minimum age of 14 for Floridians to have a social media account. Users who are 14 or 15 can keep their accounts or make new ones, but only if a parent or legal guardian says it's okay. The change comes after Governor Ron DeSantis vetoed an earlier bill last week because of its lack of parental input. The Florida legislature has voted overwhelmingly to curtail civilian oversight of law enforcement or correctional officers. Margie Menzel reports the measure would preempt the authority of local governments in cases of police misconduct.
There are 21 Florida cities with active citizen police review boards. But under this preemption measure, House Bill 601, the state would decide who handles investigations and misconduct cases, not the cities. Supporters of the bill object to citizens sitting on the oversight boards who are suspicious of law enforcement. But N.R. Hines, a policy strategist at the ACLU of Florida, says that's a strength, not a weakness.
So if there are individuals that are greatly in support of law enforcement, or there could be individuals who are on the other side of that spectrum, but that's what makes up our community, and they all deserve to have their voices heard in terms of police accountability.
According to a 2021 study by the Leroy Collins Institute, cities with citizen oversight agencies have seen a reduction in total black arrest rates per 100,000 compared to cities that don't have them. I'm Margie Menzel.
There are concerns that the selection by Florida Governor DeSantis to run elections in a large county could be motivated by politics. WMFE's Joe Burns reports DeSantis has appointed Glenn Gilzine to fill the remainder of Democrat Bill Cowell's term as supervisor of elections for Orange County.
Glenn Gilzine is the administrator for Governor DeSantis' hand-picked board that took over Disney's former Reedy Creek Improvement District. The Republican replaces Bill Cowles, who retired after 26 years in office. The job pays $205,000 a year, about half of Gilzine's salary with the district. UCF political scientist Aubrey Jewett says DeSantis chose an ally instead of an experienced appointee to serve Orange County voters.
We're used to a high level of service and somebody who approached the job on a very nonpartisan basis. They'll be watching to hopefully make sure that that's how the office continues to be run for this next very important presidential election.
The tourism district says Gilzine's appointment is, quote, effective immediately, and the transition between his roles should be completed in 1 week. 7 candidates have filed to run for the office in November. Gilzine is not among them. In Ocala, I'm Joe Burns.
It will be cloudy and hot today with highs in the low 80s. Tonight, expect overnight thunderstorms with lows in the high 60s. Tomorrow, thunderstorms in the morning with highs in the high 70s. I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.